Alright guys, so this is what the filter should look like when it's pretty clean and has a pretty decent bioload of just good bacteria. Some suggestions to get it this way, especially if you've never ran it with a pre-filter before, talk about that in a second, is that you're really going to want to clean it. When you clean it, take it and dump the whole thing into a bowl, because there's going to be this real thick layer of really like what looks like this down at the bottom. There's even more, so this was just came off the top, and there was even more than what came off the bottom. So this stuff really builds up from all these guys in the tank, and this thing will get dirty. So if you're not running it with a pre-filter, I would suggest pouring it in the bowl, rinsing it. All that stuff will float to the top. Just skim it off, and then do that probably 3 or 4 times, just until no more big chunks come through. And then also another suggestion is that you really want to check that tube right where this intake's coming from the valve into the center of this. That's the intake. The outtake is on the side there. In that tube, if there was no pre-filtration, you could really get a buildup in there. And so you want to make sure you rinse that and make sure it's clear, because water's coming through that underneath, and then fluidize everything. So you can kind of see now that it's fluidizing all the way around, and it's doing pretty good. It's still right above just the min line, but that's okay when you have a good load of bacteria in there. That's, it's just so fine, but that's the way it should be most of the time. It's still violently thrashing all throughout the reactor. So again, that's the intake in the center. You want the intake to come down from that valve into here, and then the outtake go through and come through your sterilizer. Another tip is to turn off your sterilizer while you're doing this. So my pre-filter I put on there, I decided I was going to put some volcanic rock around the pump. Now I would suggest putting a good amount around on it, probably like 3 pounds depending on the pump size. This is a Sun 065. I would suggest probably like 3 pounds. You really want to cover the front and make sure that there's no openings that water could go through that are not covered by volcanic rock. So you definitely want to do that. But yeah, so that's even with the pre-filtration. I'm still getting a good flow into this filter now. I'll show you what kind of flow I've got coming out of the outtake. That's good. That's tuned in for your sterilizer too. So yeah, that's how you clean this filter. One last suggestion before I'm done here is, when you're taking this thing off the top and getting ready to clean it, just put it in a 5-gallon bucket. It should be able to come out of your cabinet or wherever you have it. Just make sure to turn off that valve beforehand, because that's going to save water from draining out, being sucked out by the pump, being siphoned and then down this way. So if you cut that off right before you open it up, it'll be nice, easy clean, and go rinse it. You should be able to do this like once every 6 weeks and keep it like this for every 6 weeks. Once it starts to, not fluidize, that's when you want to clean it. But I would suggest probably every 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how much bioload's getting in there. Alright, more updates to come.